I can't really remember a time when I didn't love reading. I think it started with my mom. Because I remember my dad telling me stories about him falling asleep to the sound of my mother reading to me, while I was still in the womb. And I guess she did this all day and all night, and my dad even read to me. And this didn't stop when I was born either. Mom worked during the day, so Dad was alone with me for about 8 hours out of the day. And instead of plopping me down in front of the TV, he read to me instead. He read an illustrated children's Bible. It was my favorite book, and I begged my dad to read it every day. I still have it on my bookshelf at home in Wisconsin. I started reading on my own just after I turned 3, and so I read that Bible to my dad instead. I began to write when I was 4, and when I turned 5, I got a new, more advanced book, the Encyclopedia of Dinosaurs. Together, that and the Bible became my favorite books. And when I got older, I realized just how ironic this was. This irony stuck with me and turned all of my actions, my passions, and even my philosophies into basically juxtapositions of one another. Juxtapositions like the liberal conservative, the shy extrovert, and the nerdy jock. Hell, my friend once called me his favorite antithesis. This is what pushes me towards my goals, towards becoming a teacher. Asada Shakur, who may or may not be a good source depending on what side of history you're on, once said, "No one is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them." I worry that teachers don't think about this enough. Like, if you teach a student correctly, there should come a day where they don't need you anymore. They should be able to rise above you and find their own way, not just follow you. And it's ironic to think that one day, any of my students should be able to put me out of a job. But how do I do that? And what does this have to do with YA? Well, you can't force someone to understand or accept something just because you think it's right. Think of Violet in Feed. She wanted people to realize that they really were dying, and the feed was bad, and consumerism was destroying them. But it broke my heart because Titus would become so interested in parts of her that weren't deemed as normal, and then she'd go off on a tangent about something that he couldn't understand and lose him. To me, Violet is a teacher trying to get her student to understand something that they're just not ready to understand yet. And Violet is a teacher vigorously trying to help her student, expecting no resistance, and for them to blindly accept. Violet is a student rebelling against forces larger than she can understand. And Violet is a young adult seeing the world through a lens, wondering why someone can't see the same way through a different lens. You can't force a student to accept. You can't force a student to resist. You can give students the education they need to overthrow you and let them figure it out for themselves.